So I was out doing a long training run over the weekend and I was listening to a podcast like I often do. And I literally stopped in my tracks when I heard this question. It really hit me hard and made me think, what are we doing here? Are we on the right path? The statement was, you can be great at being an entrepreneur or business person, but you're going to be a shitty dad or a shitty husband. Or you can be great at being a husband or family man, but you're going to be a pretty mediocre business person. What the person was trying to say, the point he was trying to make is that you cannot be great, like world-class great at both things. And it made me stop what I was doing and stop my run in the middle of the workout and think, man, is there something to this? Is he right? I don't know if I agree, but maybe he's onto something. And so today, Oli and I are going to go through that idea. Can you be great at both? Should you even try to be great at both? Is it something that you should think about or not? Because I really strongly feel people have a very misguided idea of what business is all about in America in 2020, whatever we are in. And part of it is this problem of we all think that we have to be the best, the greatest, world class at all of these things. Maybe what we need to do is just refocus our priorities a little bit and level set on what we truly actually want for ourselves. Maybe it's not greatness, maybe it is greatness, but understanding with 100% certainty in your head is going to make the difference here and how this question comes to life for you guys. So Oli and I are going to discuss this and go through it. I think it's a fascinating topic and it really helped me think through some things with where I'm at in my journey. And I hope it does for you too. All right, man. So D.H.E show, right? We're dads, husbands, entrepreneurs. We talk a lot about entrepreneurs, but I'm gonna throw kind of a mix at you today.
Oh, hot dog.
I was listening to a podcast, which this starts off every fucking conversation I have with you guys, right? Listen to a podcast because I'm a podcast guy. And do you know Ryan Pineda? Anyone know who he is?
Related to Pineda Tacos? Because I love Pineda Tacos.
No, but maybe. He's a big real estate investor. He's got a big podcast now and YouTube channel and all that stuff, right? He was interviewing a guy, Dan Henry, I think was the guy's name. Never heard of him before. It was a super interesting podcast. And this Dan Henry guy is talking about how he was an internet marketing guy in the last 8 years, right? Blew up big time, was doing literally millions of dollars a month in profit for just him through Facebook ads and helping companies scale and do this stuff. And in the process, he was married. And in the process of going hard as hell, making money, right? His wife's like, screw this. I don't care about the money that much. You care about the money. I don't care about the money. I'm out. Divorces him. She leaves. He goes and lives the bachelor lifestyle. Buys a yacht, partying. He's got all the women and all the shit on the boat and doing all the things that you see in the rap videos, right? And he said, I would go home and all I could think was, I just wish my wife was with me. I wish my wife could have experienced this thing, right? So this is sort of the backdrop of this guy's conversation and where he's going with Ryan on the podcast. He said a comment in there where I was like, oh, Oli and I got to talk about this. And he said, you can either be a great entrepreneur, the greatest there is, and a shit dad, shit husband, or you can be a great dad and great husband and a shit entrepreneur. There is no both.
Disagree.
All right. Let's talk about it. Why?
Dude, whoever this moron is, he takes a zero-sum game bullshit mentality, which I disagree with. Very little in life is zero-sum. You know that. It is not I win, you lose. I think you can be a great dad. Can you be great at both? I don't know.
But that's his point.
But I think saying shit dad, great entrepreneur, shit dad. Yeah, maybe. But I think you can be a great dad and a good entrepreneur.
But that's the key differentiation. And I want to really hammer in on this. You just said you can be a great dad and a good entrepreneur. Can you be great at both? Can you have a world-class, best of the best business and kick ass as a dad and a husband?
I think when you're building a business and it's true entrepreneur land, well, tell me more about this guy. Because I want to understand that this guy that said that, what's his backstory?
Before you just call him a moron.
Yeah, what's his, so other than yachts and STDs on yachts and, wishing his wife was there because
I don't, this is the first time I ever heard of the guy. So from what I understand, his backstory was he was a pizza delivery guy. He's in Florida. He's delivering pizzas and he's like, I want to make something in my life. I don't know what to do, how to do this. Parlays it into some sort of entry-level job at a company where he meets a billionaire who owns the company. And the guy, he had a chance to have lunch with the owner, and he looks at the owner and he's like, I'm going to shoot my shot. I got to ask him a question. Like, how do you make money? And the owner said, do you read books? And the guy's like, no. Well, there's your problem. You're not learning. Like, go learn how to make money and then go do it. And that was like the trigger for him. So he ends up buying a bar in the middle of some small town in Florida, needs to get traffic there. And his traffic source becomes Facebook and Facebook ads and running ads to Facebook to get people to this bar. Turns the bar successful, sells it, and that jump starts then, like, I'm really good at Facebook ads. I'm going to become a Facebook guy. And over the next 4 or 5 years, become sort of like a Facebook ad agency guru guy, helping brands and companies make a shit ton of money. That's the backdrop of this guy.
Yeah,
as far as I'm super simplified.
I'm going to disagree with that because we literally talked 45 minutes ago about the fact that the whole 9 to 5 thing is bullshit.
Yeah.
And I think you can be a great dad and a great entrepreneur. It's coming down to prioritization. Can you be a great dad, a great entrepreneur, and a great socialite? No. You got to choose one of the three. So, for instance, I think, like, I know guys and gals that are amazing entrepreneurs, extremely successful. They don't miss any of the shit that their kids have going on.
What stage of their business are they in?
Well, one of the guys just constantly starts new businesses. So he's in perpetual startup, getting things to millions of dollars in revenue. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I don't think there's a zero sum, and I think times have changed. I also think the role of a dad has probably changed, right? Like, you know, I don't know when this guy did all this, probably early 2010s is when he really became, you know, go-to guy in this space. I don't know. Like, it sounds like he can't be a good dad because he was more focused on banging hookers and being
No. The yacht thing was after his wife left him. He wasn't doing any of that when he's married.
Yeah, but something doesn't add up there. And that's my point. Okay. If you are solely focused on money, you can be a great entrepreneur and not be laser focused on screwing people. Right?
Why do you keep saying screwing people?
Because if all you were doing is focused on money, generally speaking, you're looking out for yourself and you're going to screw people. You're going to run over people. When I say screw people in that sense, you're running over people. Like, yes, I think a lot of great entrepreneurs, they're ruthless. You have to be ruthless to be a great entrepreneur and make fuck you money. But what is the definition of great entrepreneur? Great entrepreneur, you create a business, you employ 300 people. It's a great business, and you're a family man. I think you can do it. I think you can absolutely be great at both. If your definition of great entrepreneur, like that guy said, which I think is inherently fucked up and flawed, and I think a lot of people, Matt, look at business and they go, well, if I'm not the king of the industry, I'm not a great entrepreneur. Fuck off. Dude, I encountered so many people in my insurance days that started a business with a dream. They end up making pretty good money or really good money. I mean, to the average person, they make amazing money.
Yeah.
But as an entrepreneur, they're making good money. And they're there for their kids, they're there for their family, they're there for the business. If they wanted to make billions of dollars, yeah, you got to be ruthless. It sounds like this guy was ruthless and he had his priorities fucked up. Well, even long before his wife left him, he was laser focused on one thing, and it was money and money only. Yeah. If that's your focus, you will figure it out, but you're going to lose everything else, and you are going to lose everything. Again, look at it. Go talk, like I've told you many times. A buddy of mine met a psychologist one time who works with people who have $50 million net worth and above. He goes, well, is there a common theme? He goes, yeah, every one of them are fucking lonely. They're miserable because they've destroyed every relationship they have because to them it's only about money. So, but I don't know. I know a couple people with uber money, way more than that. Nicest fuckers I've ever met in my life. It's all about your priorities.
I think that was where I was hoping we would go with this conversation, because I heard him talking about it, and I couldn't help but thinking to myself, how many people out there are trying to start a business because they want a yacht, they want that lifestyle, they want money for things, and they do everything in their power to focus on doing that. And it's not even just entrepreneurs. Think about C-suite people, right? Was your dad gone a lot as a kid?
I don't know if he was gone a lot. I mean, he worked a lot. It wasn't like he was gone chasing the next big deal, right? It was a different time. It was the 80s. It's a different 90s. Time. So you couldn't work from home as a CFO of a company, right?
Right. And like my dad started his dental practice, and I remember lots of hours. I remember Saturdays and Sundays we'd be in the office with him, right? He'd be cleaning teeth, just trying to get this thing up and running. And it was a grind. The first 10 years was a grind.
Your dad's the only dentist that's ever worked on a Saturday.
Right. it was a grind, right? And it has a toll. My parents are divorced. That's probably a big reason why. My father-in-law was the CFO of a huge healthcare company here. And obviously I didn't grow up with him, but I went on trips with him in the end of his career. We're in Europe on a cruise, and it's whatever the time zone difference is. He had a board meeting he had to be on.
Yeah.
And we're in the middle of the Caribbean or the Mediterranean, and he has to leave. He can't go do the things he wants to do because work. Right? Like the priority is the key here of what do you actually want? Like, do you want to be the best at something, or do you want to be pretty damn good? And your priority is really on being the best at.
I think it's the biggest piece. Is what are your priorities? Yeah, if you're an entrepreneur, you just want to make a bunch of money. You're probably going to business for the wrong reason. And I honestly think it's stupid. I've said to you many times, I made really good money in my job before. And if I could have tolerated the environment and the toxic crap and the misery, I could have made excellent money for the rest of my life with a fair amount of freedom. But at the end of the day, I wasn't doing anything I cared about. I don't give a shit who you are selling insurance to an executive, the property and casualty or health and welfare. You're not changing anybody's life. Like it's really like keep living in fairy tale land. There was nothing enjoyable about it. But starting this and doing this, and I've said to you from day one, like at the end of the day, if we get to a certain point where this is a great lifestyle business, it's a lifestyle business. And I know there are people who scoff at lifestyle businesses, but we all know that guy or gal that makes $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year.
Yeah.
And works one day a week. I know a handful of people like that. They've got amazing businesses. They work on one day a week. It's going to generate enough money for them to live, travel, do everything they want to do, and they don't care. I'm okay with it. But at the same time, I also fundamentally believe that we are on a mission to empower people to change health and nutrition on the go. And that is something that, it does take sacrifice. It does take time. But I'm not doing this. And I'll say this till I'm blue in the face. I'm not doing this for the money. Like I have sold more shit that I was so proud that I bought with my own money that I earned in my life in the last 8 months, that just so my family can live somewhat comfortably and we can continue to send our kids to sports and we can continue to sign our kids up for things. We can continue to do stuff. So it's not just, if it was about the money, I wouldn't get rid of these items that were status symbols or whatever they were. Does that make sense? Like It's where are your priorities? I want to be home. You know this. I get up early. Why? Because I want to work before my kids get up. Because at home, when I get home at 5:15, I want the next 2 hours to be solely kid focused. And I don't want to be thinking about work. Because I love my kids. And I got one shot. I mean, my daughter's 7.5. In 11 years, she's gone. She's off to college. And I will never get this time back with her.
Right.
And so money will always be there. Money will always be out there. And so whoever this guy was, I vehemently disagree with him. And now that goes back to it though. I think too often, Matt, we correlate being a great entrepreneur with how much money you made. That doesn't mean shit, because you can make a lot of money and just screw people, or you can make good money and take care of those people around you. So I would ask people like, which are you? Was he the guy that was he giving his people that helped him build this Facebook empire? Was he giving his people $1 million bonuses? Because if he wasn't, and they were integral to doing this, is he a good entrepreneur? No, he's the exact opposite. He's a terrible entrepreneur and a terrible dad. What are your thoughts?
I agree that if you want to be the greatest entrepreneur, you are going to be gone. And by default, you're not going to have the home life that
correct.
You're not going to be great at the home life, because I in business, in sports, in anything, if you want to be the best or the top 1%, like it takes nothing but your focus and dedication on it. So I agree with them, but I don't want that. Like that was a big aha for me. Like I don't care. I don't need millions and millions and millions of dollars. And that to me is been an evolution over the last few years of like, look, if you can't be happy wherever you are, no matter the income or whatever, just happy with your family and your wife, your kids, whatever, then you need to change your mindset, because whether or not you make $1 million or $60,000 a year, yeah, you'll have different things in your life. It's more of a struggle. I totally understand. Way more of a struggle. But at the same hand, like go make your life fun and exciting no matter what. Because if you can't figure out how to do it when you don't have the money, you're not going to know how to do it when you do have money. Right? I think people just get so fixated on climbing the corporate ladder, becoming rich, getting all of this shit that they forget like that's not going to help you live your life.
Yeah,
does that make any sense?
100%, Matt, because I think about, dude, I think back to this all the time. I worked with people that made $1.5 million, $2 million a year. And I'm fairly certain they weren't saving more than 10, 20 grand a year. Because what happens is you have this massive lifestyle. So everyone's like, I want to be rich.
Creep. You start spending
lifestyle creep. Yeah, you start spending all the money. And I mean, I was as guilty of that. Like I bought things that I've since sold. I made stupid decisions, but thank God my wife was fucking brilliant and saved money because that's really the last year we're living off of money that we saved in a rainy day fund. And so, yeah, I mean, I think if I were to think about it, I think you can be a really good entrepreneur and a really good dad. Can you be great at both? Maybe. But again, it depends on your definition of it. We all have different definitions of a great entrepreneur. Is Mark Zuckerberg a great entrepreneur? I don't think so. I think Mark Zuckerberg had an idea. I think he surrounded himself with amazing people. Would I trade my lifestyle for his? There's no shot in hell. Would I trade my lifestyle for Jeff Bezos? There's no shot in hell.
Well, again, look at those guys. Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Zuckerberg seems to be married still, but Bezos and his wife separated, divorced, gone. Elon and his wife and kids, as far as I understand, are not.
He's got like 13 kids, doesn't he?
And it's not at all what I want. Like, I want to come home and have fun with the family. I want to go to the kids' soccer games. I want to coach their stuff. Does that mean that I'm not going to be the greatest entrepreneur? Yeah, totally fine with that.
And it's tough, right? Like, because don't get me wrong, last night I got home, we're coming off a couple weeks of misery. And I got home last night and all I could think of was, I got to get this, and this done. I was outside playing with my kids, but I was not mentally present. My mind was focused on one thing only, and it was, I got to do this, and that, and this, and that, and 2 of these things, and 4 of those things. Like, that wasn't good. But I think you're gonna get that with anybody, right? Whether I'm a desk jockey working a 9 to 5 or running a business, you're gonna have those mental moments of panic. But I don't know. Like I think the bigger issue, and I think this is the funny piece, and you see this, right? We've got a very flawed view of what success is in America. People think that money is amazing and that money is gonna buy you happiness and wealth and everything that you want. I mean, right? I'm a member at a golf course. I've met a lot of extraordinarily wealthy people. Most of them aren't nice people. They're very happy. They don't come off as very happy. Stressed out. Oh yeah. Like they're stressed. Yeah. It's strange. I mean, coming from my former job where I dealt with a lot of extremely wealthy people as clients, most of them were not great people. They weren't people that I wanted to hang out with. Right. Which says something about it. They're trading money for something else, right? And I know maybe I said this on a podcast a couple of weeks ago, but when I think about our life, like I think it'd be fun, Matt, to go around and ask 10 kids, go into YZ and go ask 10 kids, hey, who was Andrew Carnegie? Who was John Rockefeller? Who was JP Morgan?
Why? Because you don't think they'll know?
They'll have no fucking clue.
Right.
They won't be able to tell you the first thing about them. They're the richest men of their time. They were the Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Elon Musk of this time. Nobody cares. They care while they're alive. They're dead. As soon as they're dead, nobody gives a shit. Okay, Carnegie, yes, because Carnegie gave away a lot of money in his latter years. What's up?
Vanderbilt.
And Vanderbilt a little bit. But the point is, most of these guys, they hoard their money. They hold on to it so tight and they don't want anybody else to succeed. And you said it best. What podcast was it where the guy said entrepreneurs? Yeah. The problem with entrepreneurs is they climb a ladder.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they get to the top, they rip the fucking ladder away and look down on you and go, "Hey, fuck you! You can't climb this thing." I see it all the time. I see it all the time. Reaching out to other entrepreneurs or other like successful entrepreneurs. People are like, "No, I don't have any interest in helping. I don't have any interest in giving you. No, you can figure it out." Like. Whoa, all right. Like we are not going to be that. Like let's acknowledge that when we are successful and a young entrepreneur comes knocking and they say, "Hey, can we talk to you?" Hell yeah, we're going to talk to you.
Well, it's part of why we have this podcast.
Exactly.
Like, we're pretty fucking open that we make mistakes and here's how we make them. Don't do some of the mistakes we made. Here's the wins we've had. Go do these. Like,
yeah.
back to this priority shift and this mindset shift. It's what are you doing this all for, right? If we got $10 million dropped in our lap tomorrow, not from the business, just if you had whatever amount is enough for you, if that was dropped in your lap tomorrow, would you still come to work the next day? When I was at Target, fuck no, peace, I'm out. Here, yeah, I still it's not about the money anymore. It is because we gotta get fucking profitable.
Yeah. No, it is
about the money, but and even as we're having this conversation, it's helping me get reinvigorated again too, and more excited. Like, this is why we're doing this thing. Like, come on, let's stop forgetting the whole point here. It's not to be some catchy marketing guy. It's not to be, some, oh wow, that Facebook ad really worked. No, fuck. People are going to be better, feel better, do better if they fix their nutrition. If they just eat a little bit better. What a fun thing to work on for the next 20 years.
I think that is the most fun aspect of this, Matt, and why I get up every day and do it, and why I relentlessly pursue it, is because I believe for the first time in my adult life, I'm making the world a better place. I'm giving people an easy and awesome product that's going to make their life better, make them healthier, and help them live the life they want to live. Dude, that's fuck, man. I mean, to me, that's all there is, right? Yeah, you can go make a bunch of money. You can pretend like whatever you're doing in finance is super important, because it probably is. But are you leaving the world a better place? And I think that's the other question. Like, I look at the insurance world that I left. A lot of these guys, they volunteer once a year. They'd serve on the board of a nonprofit. And they'd be like, look at me, I'm so great. But like, dude, but you're not giving anything. You're not giving your time, your money.
Yeah.
Like, you're not doing anything that's actually making it better. So I don't know. I really struggle with that, with that concept of great dad, shitty entrepreneur, great entrepreneur, shitty dad. I just think I disagree with it. And I think, I mean, dude, you know enough guys in the real estate world that are amazing entrepreneurs, that are amazing dads.
Well, I do know a few. Yes, there are a few that have made it, that have become incredibly successful, and at least as far as I can tell, great relationships with their family, and they care about it. But I also know a ton of people that have become even more successful, and their whole family is in shambles, and their wives are gone, and their kids hate them, and no matter where you are. And I know tons of people have no money, and their family hates them. Like, at the end of the day, it's sitting down and actually, and I think this is the problem with America. If you ask the average person, you want to go ask a bunch of kids about Rockefeller and, ask them about the titans of business in the 1800s, right? What if you go ask kids, what actually makes you happy?
Let's go do it.
What do you actually like to do? Right? Kids might have an answer. Go ask a bunch of 20-year-olds walking around downtown. Hey, what do you find satisfaction out of? Whatever. Work.
TikTok.
They don't have an answer. They don't know. They don't know what they're doing and why they're doing it. They're doing so many. Well, and I'm only speaking for me, right? Like, I climbed the corporate ladder and did the corporate thing because that's what I thought I had to do.
Yeah.
Right. And I was doing it to try to become some C-suite person, making money, raising a family. So, like, even I was thinking about, as we were having this conversation, if you were to go back and I could talk to 25-year-old me and tell him what I know now, would he have listened? No, not at all.
Well, I don't know. I think if you went back in time, Matt, and you said like, hey, I can promise you if you do this, this, and this. The problem is that it's how society is. Like, it's if you had a mentor come to you that you trusted and you were 25 and they said, hey, Matt, trust me, like, I think you're gonna be a lot happier going off doing this, this, and this. I think you would listen. I think the problem is, though, is that we don't have mentors in our lives that tell us that type of shit. We have a society that's go to college, rack up a bunch of debt, graduate from college, and go get your big boy job, buy a house, buy a car, rack up more debt, now work for the next 30 years to pay off that debt. And like, it's a really interesting system, but you don't get a lot of encouragement of like, dude, go fail 20 times starting a business. So by the time you're 30, you have a business that works. It's like, because we're also afraid of failure. I mean, I go back to youth sports or anything, like even class. Why was I always afraid to raise my hand in class? Because if I said the wrong answer, you were either laughed at or the teacher like, well, the teacher got frustrated or whatever. Like, oh, that's what I remember. Maybe it wasn't that way, but we don't embrace that failure. We don't embrace that like try, fail, succeed. Right? It's like you got to be perfect that first time because that's what, and now it's even worse. Look at the shit we see on social media. You don't see all the failures. You don't see the influencer that, has posted 1,700 posts and only has 900 people. You just see the influencers that are like, look at how perfect my life is, right? Like it's I don't know. I think we got a very flawed perspective. And if we went out there and took the rosy colored lenses off, I think kids would see things a little bit differently. And like, I got a friend, he's owns a lot of businesses. He's failed so many times. He does a lot of stuff. He's like, yeah, who gives a shit? We'll go again.
And I think going back to why are you doing this and can you be happy with what you have regardless of if you're making money or not? Like that's the key, right? If we're going to have this culture that embraces failure, which we should, like you have to be able to go home at the end of the day and be like, well, whatever. Like I still am going to be happy and I'm still going to be able to do things and find satisfaction outside of just this corporate or this business thing. Do you know what I mean?
No, 100%. But I think that's why, like I told Abby, like if we post 1,000 posts this year and we get no likes, that isn't failure, right? Like failure is if we just don't do it. And so I told her, like telling people and encouraging people, like try and fail. Like it's okay. It's no different than us. Like we're iterating with new concepts with Switchback.
Yeah.
We haven't failed, but we're like, hey, if this doesn't work, how can we pivot as quick as we possibly can? So no, I think, I don't know. I agree with you. I think people don't understand what's actually going to make them happy. And I think a lot of times we just think money is going to make us incredibly happy. And the more money we have and the earlier we can retire.
Yeah.
Like I was having coffee with a guy a couple of weeks ago. He's 76 years old, still works 45, 50 hours a week. Not because I don't think because he has to. He loves his job. He fucking loves it. He goes, yeah, I'm probably going to work another 5 years. Think about that. The average person gets to 62. Like, I can't wait. I have 712 days until I'm going to retire, man.
Yeah.
712. No, 710. No, 7. And
Again, you're focused on the wrong thing.
Bingo. The people
I got 700 days left to make an impact. Like, what if we could get people to, whatever. I don't know that we're ever going to change that, but I want to ask you a specific question, two questions. What do you think about this conversation as it relates to what you're going to try to teach your kids and the mindset that you're going to try to instill in them? And how are you going to actually do that over the next 15 years?
That's a great question. I think for me, it's chase the passion. Whatever that passion is and whatever fuels that fire inside you, because that's what's gonna keep you going.
What if that passion is just a complete fucking waste of time and is gonna do nothing? I'm not playing. I'm really asking the question. I'm not trying to be a dick or anything.
Okay, but play that out, because I think that is again another really flawed thing. So I'll give you a couple of funny examples. One, let's say your passion is fishing, and you're like, dude, you can't make money fishing because you're not gonna be in the pro fishing tour. Which I don't even know if they make money. I'm sure they do. What do? You move to some idyllic place and you become a fishing guide. Or you go up to Alaska, you start as a low-level guide, you work your way up. You can make an excellent living that way. There are a million things that you can go make money doing. So I don't know if there's many professions you can't. I also think, like, I've got some coffee cups at home from a company in St. Paul called D.H.E Pottery. Every single cup is handmade. They have no machines that make these cups. You want to be if pottery's your jam, you can probably go there and get a job and make a living, make a pretty good wage spinning cups and making these custom handmade cups. Not even custom. I think like they make mass quantities. You can make money so many different ways. Now, if you're going to sit here and tell me, like, you're a video gamer and you're ranked 7,312th in the world, and you're going to be a professional video gamer, like, dude, you might want to go get a job.
Well, if that's their passion, though.
If that's their passion, then you got to figure out how to apply it to the world to support yourself. As long as you can support yourself, I don't care what you want to do, but you have to be able to support yourself. Says the guy who has no income starting a business.
See, I think this is the conundrum, because even as I'm hearing you say, like, yo, if you love pottery, go be a potterist. What I'm thinking in my head is, yeah, but they're going to struggle like fucking crazy. They're going to live in a studio apartment. They're going to barely make ends meet. They're going to have ramen noodles. I think that's where parents go and why parents push so hard.
But if that is happiness for you, because I think that's where it's tough. We can't get, Matt, I don't think we can get ourselves into what is happiness for someone else. What drives happiness for someone else, we just don't understand. I look at the people that I've encountered in my life. I mean, the guy that I met climbing Mount or DeCalibron out by Breckenridge a couple years ago. He was a college student that was living in his car, built a bed in his car out of plywood, like just totally fucking cool. And here's a guy. He's like, yeah, I was a wilderness guide in Utah for a couple weeks or something. You know, help guiding people on hikes, whatever. And he goes, then I came over here and he's like, I'm spending the next 2 months just traveling, through the mountains by myself. And I get he's not living, right? He was a college student. But he's like, he goes, I'm living on like $7 a day. And I'm like, holy shit, man. And I'm sitting there, I'm going, my first thought was, dude, you're crazy. But you start to talk to him, and he's like, it's great. He's like, one of the challenges I had for me all this summer was I'm not going to buy water. I'm only going to find water sources and purify my own water. You think about that, like there is so much joy in that. And to the average person, if you're in New York City listening to this podcast in Midtown Manhattan, you're going, what kind of fucking loser does that? Or you're thinking, wow, I wish that was me. Go do it. Don't shit on other people's happiness and what brings them that joy.
Yeah.
So if your happiness is you want to be a potter and you want to have a studio apartment and you want to live on ramen and you don't give a shit, who are we to make that judgment that you don't love your life and you're not ecstatic? As long as you're supporting yourself. So
you're going to push the kids, follow your passion, but you have to be at least financially viable.
You got to do something. I mean, that's no matter what country we live in the world, you have to have a financially viable career. I don't give a shit if you're in the Congo, if you're in Venezuela, Brazil, like you need to have something that's financially viable, right?
Yeah.
And so, you have to have something that's going to support you, but chase the passion. It's no different. Like we've talked about this before, but when I ask people about networking, I was meeting at Metal Lady yesterday and vibrant, full of energy. I go, what are your passions? She goes, the first thing that came to mind was gardening. I'm like, why don't you go find a gardening company to work for in marketing? She goes, like every gardening store, every gardening company in the state, small, medium, large, probably wants better marketing because it's a hyper competitive business, right?
Yep. But there's not the money in it.
Oh, there's pretty good money in it. There's pretty good money in these gardening stores. Actually, like really good money.
Think so?
And the marketing said, I got a buddy who does some consulting for a couple of them. And once you see the financials, you don't go back. I mean, it's like, you're like, whoa. But the point is, and not everyone, by the way, right? Some of them. But the point is, why not go figure out how to do that? Become the expert in marketing for gardening companies in the state of Minnesota.
Now we're back to that expert thing.
Being an expert in something doesn't mean that you're shitty in something else. The expert and greatness, two different things. There's experts in engineering. That doesn't mean they're shitty family men or family women. Like you're an expert in food brokerage. You are an expert. Does that mean you're a shitty dad? No, not even slightly. You can be an expert in something. You can be an expert in 10 things. But I also think like we could talk about this for days. When you're an expert, like people used to be an expert in a dozen things. Now people are an expert, not even an expert in like half a thing, right? We don't have the attention span to do it. But
no. Experts at TikTok.
Oh man.
They have the attention span for that.
2 seconds. Pattern interrupt. Go. Yeah.
I like that we're having this conversation, and obviously this is not scripted. Like we're really talking through this because I think this is a big thing with me right now. My son is going to turn 10 in July and my daughter's 6. She's going to be 7 this year. And I heard this guy in the podcast, like you can't be, well, it was an expert. You can't be great at both. I'm like, yep, I kind of agree. But like, I'm cool with where I am now, but I'll be 42 this year and it's been a journey to get here. Like I don't think at all how I think now. That was not that even 4 years ago. It was completely different in my approach and my mentality with all this stuff. And like, I'm good with me. I have accepted where I am. I'm living how I want to live, but I want to make sure that my kids, that I'm setting them up for the best thing possible. And I don't want it to be, I don't necessarily want it to be like me, chase money, chase corporate, chase stuff. Like I want it to be more like what you're talking about. Like really figure out what makes you happy. get good at something, figure out what makes you happy, and try to combine those two things. But try to still, you have to be able to provide for yourself. So get good at something that has an upside.
Yeah, I would agree with that. By the way, I disagree with you can't be an expert in multiple things. Oh, you're bullshit. There are plenty of people out there who are an expert in multiple things. I guarantee you there are people that are experts in Instagram while being experts in something else. You can be an expert in multiple things. It's, are you willing to put in the time and the energy to learn? And I think guys like Tim Ferriss and a lot of other wonderful humans have shown us you don't need as much time to be an expert. I mean, wasn't it Gladwell? Was
10,000 hours.
Talked about that? You don't even need 10,000 hours. It's more byproduct when you were born. And anyway, long story. One random question at the end, right? Your dad, very successful. Your father-in-law, very successful. They had hobbies. What were they?
Golf.
Both of them? It was golf, just golf. They don't have any other hobbies?
They both golfed. My dad bowled my whole life, golfed. We loved going on the boat. My father-in-law has a cabin and has had one for 30 some years. So I was going up there. We didn't have one growing up, but my parents bought a boat when we were 10 maybe. And we go to the lake almost every weekend.
The reason I ask, I think about my dad is the CFO of a company, expert woodworker, expert in finance, expert in woodworking. I also think not everybody's gonna be an expert. There are people that there is the true Renaissance man. And I think of my dad as being a true Renaissance man of, if he's going to learn something, he's going to learn it. I mean, I will put him, Matt, we could put him up against the best CFOs in e-commerce right now. He's been in e-commerce for a year and he will outmaneuver damn near every CFO in e-commerce, because when he digs in, what is the most annoying trait about my dad with us at Switchback?
He wants the invoices the month that
he wants every fucking detail, because he wants to learn it. He wants to understand. He wants to understand TikTok, Shopify. I mean, he is brilliant in this stuff. He's an expert in it. He is truly an expert in this space now. You can be an expert in many things. Are you willing to put in the time?
Sure.
And are you willing to make sacrifices? It goes back to the whole thing. Busy is a choice. If you're gonna sit there and spend 4 hours on social media, you're probably not gonna be an expert in shit.
Yeah.
But if you put the phone down and go start learning or reading books, you're gonna be an expert. Cool. So, what was your last question?
Well, real quick, I know you're not mic'd up, Abby, but I'm very curious. So Abby is 24, not 25. Does any of this resonate with you? As we talk about passion, career, doing things for whatever reason, are you yeah, whatever, you're just old fuckers talking, or are you I kind of see this?
She's leaning forward right now. She's thinking. She's got her
deep
thinking.
in thought.
She's still mad I called her a quarter of a century.
So Abby doesn't have a microphone in front of her, but what she said was, I get what you're saying, but things are fucking expensive. And how are you going to actually afford the lifestyle that you want? Abby's parents gave a lot of shits about their kids and set them up for success and gave them the opportunity to be what they wanted to be. But not everyone has that. And no matter what, coming out of college, everyone is trying to figure out how do you actually get where you're trying to go. That is the fundamental thing, right? That's why 25-year-old Matt couldn't listen to this stuff and be yeah, I get what you're saying, guys. I'm gonna chase my passion. And be no, fuck you. I want to buy a house. I need a new car. How am I gonna do this stuff? Because I need to make money. So
yeah,
and I don't want to rehash this. I think
no, but
one thought on it, and then we should probably wrap up.
I think you're spot on. I mean, shit's expensive, more expensive than it ever has been. I think there is the issue, and I'm as guilty as anybody else. Right? We grow up, we don't see how our parents struggled in the early days, and so you graduate from college and you go, well, shit, my parents always had money, or they're always middle class, they always whatever, right? You envision your parents at that age. You don't see your parents when they're 24. At least I don't think you do. And you don't think about oh shit, they were struggling, they were saving, their lifestyle wasn't. I mean, my mom says it to us all the time. She's like, we didn't have half the shit that you guys had when we were our age.
Right.
And part of it's the devaluation of things, right? Certain things have just gotten significantly less expensive compared to when they were young. Interest rates, you name it. But I think there is that piece of what is and we could talk about this for days. What is the lifestyle? What are you willing to give up? We in our family, I mean, I'm making no secrets. There's some things we give up. I hang out with some people and they're hey, let's go do this. I'm dude, I can't afford that. I used to be embarrassed to say that. Now I'm dude, I'm trying to solve, nutrition for people on the go in the world, and that takes time, money, and energy. I don't have, that type of money to go spend on X, Y, and Z. And that's okay. Like I'm cool with it. And I think that's the biggest piece. Like you got to realize like your lifestyle at 22 isn't gonna be the same lifestyle at 50.
Yep.
You're going to make more money at 50 than you are at 22.
Yep.
Chances of you coming out of college making, $300,000 like your parents and having that lifestyle, not very good. At least not.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're a doctor, but then you're at 37. So, all right, Matt, anything else?
No, we'll wrap it up with win of the week.
Win of the week. I think the biggest win in the last week with me on the business front was we had a big powwow on my porch on Friday, the three of us, and we got a lot more clarity on where we're going and what we're for. And that clarity of we are solving the problem of moms and kids who don't eat their veggies. Kids that don't eat their veggies, we're a source for mom to give them those veggies that in a way that they're going to like them and enjoy them. It was a huge weight off my shoulders where now we can focus on one area and we can go own it. I think I want to be the jack of all trades, which sucked. So that's the win of the week. We got clarity. You?
Win of the week for me. Damn it. I should be better at being prepared for this.
Yeah. You came up with the fucking questions, dude.
I know.
Win of the week.
Well, I am now officially the coach of my daughter's soccer team.
Dude.
Again.
It's like we're twins because I was like, I know the win of the week. He's the coach of the kids' soccer team. I was literally just thinking that.
Elia's team, which it pisses me off because when we sign her up, I always say, I'll coach if no one wants to. And so they put, I don't know who, someone was the coach. And I was like, guys, if you want me to do it, I can certainly help. No, it's fine. And then we show up to the game last week and there's no coach. I was like, where the fuck's the coach? Oh, he didn't come today. My mom brought me and I'm like, he's the coach. What do you mean he's not here? And then we get a email later. We need a coach. So I was like, all right, fine, I'll do it. But it's really fun. Like I do enjoy. So I jumped in and I helped, right? I filled in to be the coach that day. And my wife was talking to one of the other moms and she's like, apparently the other mom goes, he's just a natural coach. Like he should just coach girls soccer all the time.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, I guess. It is fun. And even at practice last night, the coach for the soccer club that we're a part of, he was trying to get the girls to do stuff. My daughter's laying in the grass. They're picking flowers. They're doing cartwheels. I'm sitting on the sideline letting the coaches coach. And finally, I'm like, okay, I get up and I walk over and I was like, would you like me to help? And he's like, sure. And I was like, okay, girls, come here, bring it in. And I get down at their level and I talk to them and all of a sudden they're like paying attention and doing the shit that they're supposed to do. I was like, oh, I apparently can relate to 6-year-old children and not 40-year-old adults.
I'm going to end on this. If you got to this point in the podcast, that's a life lesson right there. It is not about like that right there is not that you relate to kids. It's that you know how to actually deal with people. Like they're his perspective. I'm looking down on you. You're younger. You're getting down saying, hey,
a 20-year-old dude.
I'm going to relate to you.
Like, what does he know about talking?
I thought this is like a 40-year-old dude, like another dad.
He's like gotta be.
Dad's an idiot.
And he was a soft-spoken guy. And I'm like, no. You cannot be soft. My son's soccer coach is soft-spoken and he'll be like, boys, bring it in. And they're like slapping each other in the ass and like, punching each other and picking boogers. I'm like, no, you need to yell at these little fuckers. Not yell at them, but like, hey, listen up. Get their attention. Get over here.
Stop picking flowers, damn it.
Yeah, like, come on, let's go. So anyways, that was my win. I am now coach again. And
all right.
Fun. I do.
Well, until next time, we're out.
All right.
We're going to go eat some more cinnamon rolls.
Oh, fuck, that's so good. Peace, cinnamon rolls, and switchback.